All right, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar here, the 24-Hour Dallas webinar. We're glad to have you here. Our focus today is on bolstering the nighttime economy by helping you start up your business. And we're glad to have you. I see people are beginning to come in to this free Zoominar presented by 24-Hour Dallas. My name is Randall White. I'm the founder of the organization and president of its board of directors. I'll introduce you to our host here in just a second. He will introduce our panelists. But just a little bit about 24-Hour Dallas. We've been around for a little over a year. Our nonprofit organization is focused on Dallas's nighttime economy. We like to call it what happens in Dallas after 6 p.m. and before 6 a.m. We want more business. We want more cultural activity. We want it to be a safer place, and we want it to be more inclusive so that we're feeding our economic tax base, making the city more attractive to tourists. And the fact is, we're just no longer a 9-to-5 city. That's a very 1950s model, and we are moving on from that. So we're glad you're here. Thank you so much. And I'll come back to you, I think, at the end. But before then, I'll just introduce you to Goree Sanchez, who's chair of our communication team and also your host today for this webinar. Take it, Goree.
Thank you, Randall. I appreciate it. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you everyone for joining us on our Zoominar today. And so before we get to the panelists and introduce them, I just wanted to share a little bit of how we got to today's Zoominar. And so some time ago, myself and some of my my fellow board members and committee members at 24-Hour Dallas got together and talked about the importance of an entrepreneur starting their own business, and what are the different options that are out there, and what are some of the programs available for people of color, and what are some of the underserved communities, and what are some of the alternative lending methods out there. And so there was just so much information to cover that it was hard to pack it into a 1-hour Zoominar. And so what we decided to do was create a series of Zoominars, and starting with this one tonight, capitalizing the night, lighting the way to startup success. And so this is a sort of a starting your own business 101 sort of Zoominar. And so for today's Zoominar, we thought we would start with the small business administration process and the different types of elements and partners that the SBA uses for anyone looking into starting up their own business, whether that be a nighttime business or whether that be any type of business to benefit the community and, of course, Dallas's economy. So I got my jug of water ready because I'm ready to do a lot of talking, at least in the beginning. And so first and foremost, I'd like to welcome our panelists for tonight's Zoominar. Thank you all so much for agreeing to be a part of this and for sharing your insights and your knowledge as it relates to starting up one's business. Tonight's panelists include Ahmad Goree. Ahmad joined the U.S. Small Business Administration in 2010, serving the Dallas and Fort Worth district office. There, he leads the economic development. He's the lead economic development specialist, and he oversees economic development activities across 72 Texas counties. Since 2015, Ahmad's outreach has helped generate more than $6.6 billion to small businesses and creating more than 50,000 jobs in the DFW area. Ahmad is also a member of the City of Dallas's Business Diversity Task Force, Texas Pride Impact Fund Catalyst Committee, and representing the LGBTQ community to submit a plan to bring the 2026 World Cup to Dallas, which is near and dear to my heart. He previously served as commissioner on the City of DeSoto's Building and Standards Commission, and as a member of the North Texas Affordable Care Act Coalition, and as an adjunct professor of government at Mountain View College. So welcome, Ahmad. Next, Todd Adams. Todd Adams is currently the Senior Business Development Officer for LiftFund, which is the largest community development financial institution microlender in the US, located in 14 states and is growing. And so Todd has been in the banking and financial arena for more than 30 years and is currently servicing the North Texas and Oklahoma markets. And last but never least, Linda Gray. Linda is a certified SCORE mentor. And what does SCORE mean? We're going to find out shortly. In addition to being a certified SCORE mentor, Linda is also a federal grant specialist. So Linda Gray is a nonprofit and small business consultant with more than 25 years of experience, with expertise in small business mentoring, nonprofit startups, nonprofit management, grant research and development for community-based nonprofits and faith-based organizations. In 2007, Linda received the Small Business Administration Atlanta District Disaster Perseverance Award for her volunteer service during Hurricane Katrina. Professional affiliations include the Association of Fundraising Professionals, the National Nonprofit Minority Association, Social Enterprise Alliance, the Dallas chapter, and Certified Business Mentor for the Dallas SCORE chapter for more than 20 years. In 2015, Linda received an honorary doctorate in Christian leadership. She's a member of the Iota Phi Lambda Sorority Psi chapter. She is married to Robert L. Gray for more than 47 years, and they are the proud parents of 3 daughters and 4 grandchildren. And so welcome to each of you. And we're going to go ahead and dive in. And so in talking to my fellow 24-hour Dallas committee members, we weren't sure of what order of how to put everyone to share all this information. So I have definitely learned a lot putting this Zoominar together with my colleagues. And so we're going to go ahead and go through the process as one would go through the process when they just don't know where to start and they want to start their own business. So step number 1 is getting in contact with SCORE. So we're going to hand it off to Linda. And Linda, give me just a second while I pull up your presentation and we will get started. All right, nod your head or say yes if you can see this.
Yes.
All right, Linda, take it away.
All right. I want to thank you, Gary, and then also Randall for the opportunity to talk about SCORE. I think it's one of the best kept secrets across the nation, and I am honored to be able to introduce SCORE, our services, and then with our co-panelists that will be joining me. It's a great opportunity for us to take advantage of all the resources. So let's start with SCORE. What is SCORE? I know when I moved back to Texas in 2006, because I served as a SCORE mentor for about 21 years, going on 21, which will be 23. And so I'm actually a Texas native. I'm from Midland, Texas, and due to my husband's relocation working with the company, we moved and traveled a lot. So I joined SCORE in Gulfport, Mississippi. So you wonder why Mississippi, but I want to talk about the history of SCORE, this organization. It was started in 1964, as a matter of fact, with 12 individuals that were professional business owners that were very successful. They sold their businesses and they decided that they wanted to give back. And so that's how SCORE was formed. The tag name is no more, but it was called the SCORE, started as SCORE Corp of Retired Executives. So right now, today, we have all types of mentors from every business industry. We have SCORE mentors that are presently employed. We also have SCORE mentors that are actually in business for themselves. But now, we actually provide information to businesses. And we are a totally free service because, number one, my co-panelists through the Small Business Administration, they are our actually resource, as a matter of fact, our resource, we can say resources that actually help us provide the services that we do. We are number 22 chapter that was formed. And so now we have over 310 chapters, SCORE chapters across the United States of America. And that is a great opportunity to get access to all of the mentors from across the United States, from wherever you are. We have actually our members, we have 10,000, over 10,000 nationwide. So it's a great resource partner, like I said, with the United States Small Business Administration. Next slide, please. All right. We are partly, as before, we're partly funded by the SBA. The SBA And guess what? These are your tax dollars. In other words, we actually provide the resources to help reinvest back into the community to make a difference and to grow our businesses, in particular entrepreneurs, into the next wave of business development. And so I do want to reflect, because of COVID, it is a tremendous time in order for SCORE to be your first line of information. So I want to encourage to be able to offer our services on the community, such as a time as this. Next slide, please. We are a free and confidential source for small business mentoring and coaching, because that's exactly what we do. We coach each individual that make contact to our offices, and we walk them through, and actually we hold their hands. They have to do the work, but I tell you what, we are one of the most resourceful organizations for businesses throughout the nation. And we offer free mentoring and low-cost workshops nationwide. And our national website, you want to really go on score.org. And it is so beneficial because through the SCORE nationwide website, I can actually determine that I can look up a certified SCORE mentor in my professional business, and I can actually establish a relationship and get a mentor through that. So we have a great opportunity for resources and learning. And so one of the latest things within the past year and a half since COVID, we have developed what you call Black Mentors Association for SCORE. We also have a SCORE Hispanic Association. We also have an Asian SCORE Association. So we are really excited about that, to bring into diversity and then actually create an economic development empire. So definitely tune in also to our local website, which is dallas.score. And then next slide, the last slide that I want to talk about. Oh, no, SBA. You don't want to forget that. But as I said before, SBA is our federal funded partner. But I tell you what, SBA is one of the greatest national resource that every individual, even if you are not thinking about starting a business, even SBA can help you become very employable in order to earn a decent living and then getting to a good economic development field so you can continue to grow. All right, we have 30 venues throughout North Texas. And so in Texas, we are the Dallas chapter, and we offer services in Collin County, Denton County, and Dallas County. We also are the covering for the SCORE Lubbock. And then also we're getting ready to develop the East Texas SCORE. And we have Austin, Texas. We have a San Antonio chapter. We have a Corpus Christi chapter. We have a Houston chapter. So therefore, we have 30 venues within our North Texas area. And we actually collaborate with chambers of commerces and to our banks. And so remember, our service is no charge. We do offer a minimum fee for some of our workshops, but basically that is what we're all about. Please continue to know your resources with SCORE, and we do look forward to serving you.
All right, thank you so much, Linda. Lots of information, and I think it's pretty clear that you have a strong passion for this. You've been a SCORE volunteer and mentor for more than 20 years. And so it's definitely clear that you have a passion for this, and it's going strong. And so I really do want to thank you for mentioning specifically that there are SCORE mentors available for, there's a group available for African Americans, for Hispanic, for Asians, because one of the things that my fellow 24 Hour Dallas committee members and I were talking about and what we wanted to focus on, not only in this Zoominar, but the succeeding ones, is what are programs are available out there for underserved communities, for folks who, maybe you, again, not only know where to start, but if there's special programs out there for individuals of color. And so thank you for bringing that up. I know that Ahmad will bring that up in his presentation as well for the SBA. And there are several questions I want to ask, and perhaps some coming from the audience too. But I'm going to go ahead and reserve that for the very end. But before we transition over to Todd Adams with LiftFund, let's just say I'm Goree Sanchez, and I want to start a business. All right, I want to, and nobody steal this idea. All right, I want to start a late night empanada business. Empanadas filled with ground beef, filled with cheese, filled with you name it, whatever type of stuffing. Right? I don't know where to start. My first step should be to contact SCORE. Is that right, Linda?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. So if I don't know where to
Yes.
start, my first step should be looking up my SCORE chapter and partnering with a mentor at SCORE, whether you or another mentor out there, right?
Yes, that is correct. If you
Okay.
go on the score.org website, you definitely will be able to asset any mentor across the United States. You'll also have the opportunity to put your business industry in, and it will actually match you with several mentors. So yes, I think SCORE is your first step.
First step. All right. And I know I want to go through the SBA process. And so my SCORE mentor is going to want to connect me with a lender that works with the SBA, right?
Correct.
Okay. And so we are very fortunate today to have one of those lenders with us. SBA works with several lenders. But today we have the pleasure of having Todd Adams of LiftFund, one of the lenders that the SBA works with and that SCORE works with. And am I correct in assuming or thinking or recollecting that you and Todd and Linda, you know each other from previous?
Well, you know what? I know Todd, but I don't think Todd knows me.
Okay.
I know the
I
fact
absolutely
that
know the name Linda Goree. So
LiftFund is a great, I'm telling you, it's a partner of ours.
yes.
And definitely, thank you, Todd.
Gotcha. Well, thank you, Todd. And I think this is a good segue to our next presenter, our next panelist, Todd Adams of LiftFund. Todd, either say yes or shake your head if you can see the screen, and you can see yourself on the screen.
I can see it. Thank you so much.
All right. And if you can just let me know when to advance the slides, I
Okay.
think we're in good shape.
Absolutely. But before I go forward, I just want to say thank you again, Goree, and thank you, Randall, for inviting LiftFund to participate in this program this evening. I want to say something about the two other panelists that are on this call. LiftFund is successful because they make us successful. We get so many qualified individuals coming from SCORE. Once they've gone through SCORE, we know for a fact that they have been given the tools, the resources, and the wherewithal and the training to be successful in business. And that makes my job easy in lending money. So thank you, Linda with SCORE, and Ahmad, thank you with SBA, because SBA is a partner with our Women's Business Center. You can see that name right up there at the top, right there, WBC, the Women's Business Center. So they're funded by the SBA, and we are big partners with the SBA. So thank both of you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Now, my presentation. LiftFund, we are a lender. We're a small business lender. We've been around since 1994, 27 years now. LiftFund was funded by a retired nun by the name of Janie Barrera. She is an amazing woman, and known throughout the United States. She goes out and seeks funding for the programs that we put in place. And we all know through this pandemic, there have been a plethora of different programs and grant programs that I've been in banking for 30 years, and there has been no such thing as business grants. This past 2 years, we have seen more grants than I have ever seen in my whole entire career. It's been very fortunate that some of these businesses have been able to take advantage of that. The money is running out, so you're going back to the lending piece. And with that said, LiftFund, this is what LiftFund does. LiftFund provides loans for up to $500,000. We can go higher because we do loans on the SBA micro side, the SBA 7A side, and the SBA 504. When we do SBA 504, we're looking at real estate involved in that as well. LiftFund also provides business and financial support services through our Women's Business Center. They help us and partner with us a lot in helping small businesses understand the process, their financials, how to market, how to structure their business, and how to register their business. We do a lot of these things through our Women's Business Center. We have strategic partnerships with other organizations. Again, those strategic partnerships are very, very important for our success through SCORE, through SBA, and through the financial institutions that are out there as well. LiftFund supports diverse industries. We jump into industries that other lenders probably would not jump into. We work with restaurants. Restaurants is a very risky business in some cases. We all saw that this past year and a half, how some restaurants couldn't even open. So if they couldn't open, they couldn't make money. They couldn't employ people. They couldn't bring in revenue. They couldn't pay their bills. So those are risky industries, but we work with them. We work with them on a regular basis. Restaurants, the trucking industry. The trucking industry is also a very big industry that we have an appetite for. So we work with those individuals, and we work with startups. A lot of lending institutions want you to have at least 2 years under your belt, be successful during those 2 years, but we will work with you if you're just starting out with your business. The type of borrower profile that we work with, 85% of our loans are made to minorities. 36% of those loans are made to startups. 33% of those loans are made to women-owned businesses. Our successful business partner, borrower behind me, she has had a very successful business bakery, cupcake bakery, that she has opened a second location. So we work with women-owned businesses, and 33% of our loans go to women-owned businesses. 10% of our loans go to veterans. So we do work with veterans. We do give them some special offers and discounts on certain things when it comes to a veteran applying for a loan with LiftFund. And then our record since 1994, over 19,000 clients. And these are some old figures, so I'm pretty sure we're over that now. We were extremely busy during the pandemic, so we have had a lot of new clients that come through. We've made over $250 million in loans throughout the 14 states. And we have a study out there, for every $1 that we lend, it generates $14 in profits, revenue, and business growth in the community. So for every $1, $14 is generated. Next slide. As I was talking about the SBA, LiftFund, we make SBA micro loans. Those loans are usually go up to about $35,000. We work with startups. Startups are eligible. The rate is in between about 8 to 9.5% on the interest rate. And the terms are anywhere from 12 months to 48 months on the micro loans. And we can go higher when we start getting into our SBA 7A and SBA 504. Next slide. This is a special program that I wanted to present, especially to individuals that are in the Dallas Metroplex. This is called DC, we call it DCED, Dallas Collaborative for Equitable Development. We offer technical assistance and education through this program, not only through the Women's Business Center, but also through Dallas College. Dallas College is a very, very big partner with us in DCED. And these are low cost loans, and I will get to that here in a second. And we're very focused on 3 opportunity zones within the Metroplex. There are 15 opportunity zones. Remember that there are 15, but we're focusing on these 3. West Dallas, Census Tract 205, the bottom, Census Tract 41, and the Forest District, Census Tract 34 and 40. And just recently, just this past week, we've expanded those areas just a little bit further out so we can really grasp the whole entire community of West Dallas, the Bottom and Forest District. Next. So DSED, this is what this DSED program loan fund looks like. We work with startups, we work with existing businesses. There's no minimum credit score. We will look at each individual from an individual on an individual basis. If there are some credit blemishes, we want to ask you what caused that. What are we doing right now to fix those things as well? So we want to work with you. Our goal with LiftFund, we are a mission-driven organization. So our goal is to really help the small business and really help them succeed and get the funding that they normally wouldn't be able to get from a traditional financial institution. With that, loan amounts with this program go for anywhere from $500 to $50,000 with the DSED program. Terms are from 12 months to 72 months. And the rate is 4%. You don't see 4% for business loans in this industry. That is a very, very favorable rate, especially for startups and small businesses that normally wouldn't get the type of funding that they need from a regular financial institution. So that 4% interest rate is a very good rate. There's a 2% commitment fee on what you're going to borrow. And with that, we think that this is probably the most important piece of this program. There's a 6-month payment deferment. We want to give you an opportunity to make your business start working before we start asking you for money. So with this particular program, 6-month deferment payment program, your payments are deferred for 6 months. Then we have the technical assistance that I talked about earlier through our Women's Business Center and Dallas College. And then there's some post-funding check-ins. We want to know what you're doing 90 days out, 180 days out, and so on and so forth. So we want to be able to stay engaged with you to make sure that your business is very successful going forward. Next. This is just an overview of how it works. The customer, the customer submits an application. You work alongside one of our lending assistants or myself. This past pandemic time, we were so busy that I've had to work loans from start to finish. So you had me the whole entire time. So that goes through, you go through that process. Then I will send your package to the underwriters for them to look at your cash flow and your debt to income ratios and see if you have the capacity to be accept this loan and be successful in servicing this debt. And then we go through the closing process. All of this takes about anywhere from 5 to 30 days. Any loan is a 5-day process. That means that the customer is very diligent and has given us everything that we needed up front. We see those on occasions, but not every day. So that 5-day closing process is very few and far between. But if you as a client give us everything that we need when up front, that closing process can be, that closing time frame can be lowered quite substantially. So, but anywhere from 5 to 30 days. So that said, next. This is my information. If you have a desire or you're looking to start a business and you're looking for funding, please don't hesitate to give me a call. My information, my email address is there. My phone number is there. This is the phone. I will answer this phone somewhat 24/7, but I do have to get a little rest sometimes, but this phone is attached to me at all times and I will answer it. So I look forward to hearing from those who are on the call. If you have a desire for a loan, please don't hesitate to reach out. And I appreciate you again, Mr. Sanchez and Mr. White and all for inviting us to be a part of this program.
Awesome. Todd, no, thank you so much. That's some fantastic information. And for me, personally, very, very eye-opening, especially when you mentioned that interest rate of 4% for the DSED program. I mean, and my phone was blowing up with several people texting me about this and saying, wow, we need to get this word out. And I see from some of the chats now that, you know, folks are also chiming in. So lots of great information. Again, we've got some folks asking questions. I want to reserve those to the very end. I've got my own questions. But if we can rewind for just a little bit. So again, I'm Goree Sanchez. I want to start a late night empanada business. I don't know where to start. I start off, somebody tells me about SCORE. So I give SCORE a call. They hook me up with a mentor. That mentor is helping me to get my things in order, right? And they mentioned lenders that the SBA works with. And so they happen to connect me with LiftFund, either yourself or someone else at LiftFund. We connect, you help me get my paperwork in order. Is that right?
Absolutely.
The next stop is for me then to go to the Small Business Administration. Is that right?
You can.
Uh-huh.
And Randall will probably talk more about that, but Randall, Mr. White is probably going to, again, say that these are our SBA lenders.
Oh, Ahmad, yeah.
Ahmad, I'm sorry. Look at
Randall's at home right now thinking, what?
Yeah, we're not talking about Randall.
Ahmad
Ahmad, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
But Ahmad.
So,
Ahmad will probably indicate that we have SBA lenders, and he will say LiftFund is one of those.
okay, all right,
Lenders.
awesome.
Sorry about that, Ahmad.
Yeah, it's okay. That's okay. Randall's off the hook for now. But that's a great transition to yeah, that's a great transition to Ahmad. And so Ahmad, give me just a second now while I pull up your presentation and we'll get going.
While you're bringing that up, Gary, we have one question that's come in going, will the recording be available for the registrant to share with the business partner? And the answer is yes. We'll be posting these on the 24hourdallas.org website. I'll post that link here in a little bit. In about 2 days, it'll be up.
Thank you, Randall. And there's so much information we have on our website, including former Zoom or past Zoominar. So thank you for that. So Ahmad, can you see the screen?
Yes, I do.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Ahmad. Ahmad Goree with Small Business Administration. Welcome. And if you could just direct me up when to advance the slides, I think we should be in even better shape. I think I have the handle of it now.
Perfect. Thank you. First of all, thank you, Gary and Randall with 24 Hour Dallas for giving the SBA this opportunity to share a wealth of programs that we have to help constituents and people that you serve. This is ideal for this type of situation. And that's what the SBA is all about. That's why this agency was created back in 1953 to help individuals start businesses. And then when they start those businesses, give them the advice and the mentorship on how to maintain those businesses, get financing, and ultimately make their businesses successful and contribute to the United States economy. So we appreciate this opportunity for this platform. Also, thank you to our resource partners like SCORE, Linda. It is resource partners like them that allow SBA's message and SBA's programs to be carried throughout the field. You are the people on the ground that are working with the business owners one-on-one to make sure that they have the tools and resources to be successful. And then also to our lending partners like LiftFund. And we definitely appreciate you for the work that you do to provide financing and also technical assistance through our microloan program and making sure that these businesses have the financing to get up and running and to provide a service and ultimately, again, contribute to the United States economy. So thank you to the two resource partners that are on. So with that, this is what I'm here to talk about. So the SBA has a wealth of programs. We could be here all day, all night, talking about the various things that we have to help entrepreneurs and small business owners. But the two main things that I want to focus on are our loan programs. You kind of heard a little bit of that with LiftFund, and you heard some about our counseling programs with SCORE. But I want to give you a bit more details about what these particular capital programs do, how you can access them, where you can access them, and vice versa with our various counseling programs. Next slide. So let's start with the money, our capital programs. So the microloan program was briefly discussed from LiftFund. These are loans that go from 100 to about 50,000, depending on the institution or the micro lender that is administering the program. Again, these are intermediaries, which means they receive funds directly from SBA to in turn go out and lend to underserved communities. So we do have a focus on making sure that we are providing the assistance to those communities that otherwise would have a hard time accessing financial programs. So we do have a lot of help here in the Metroplex. Not only do we have a great deal of help from LiftFund, but we also have a great deal of help from BCL of Texas and People Fund, which are also micro lenders that cover the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Next slide. Our major loan program, which is kind of like our flagship loan program, is the 7A loan program. These loans go up to $5 million, and these loans are pretty much used for anything. So you could use them for startup money, you could use them for working capital, you could use it for purchasing equipment, or you could just use it as operating costs to pay your employees. What's really great about this particular loan program and all of SBA's loan programs outside of disasters is we work with lenders. So we work with your financial institutions, your large and small institutions like your Bank of America's, your Wells Fargo's, your BBA Compasses, and your community lenders that are in some of those smaller communities that rely on those community financial institutions or credit unions to get loans to advance their businesses. So what's really great about this is we don't lend the money directly from SBA. Those lenders do that job for us. But we tell those lenders, hey, if you consider this particular loan that you otherwise wouldn't consider in your traditional loan programs, we're going to guarantee those loans. So we're going to make sure that any loans under 150,000 is guaranteed 85%, and any loans over 150,000, we're going to guarantee 75%. So banking institutions and financial institutions are more willing and relaxed when it comes to lending to small businesses and entrepreneurs when they know that the SBA has that loan back for either 75 or 85% of those dollars. Again, the interest rates are fairly low. So our lenders that are in our lending programs or decide to use our lending programs can't charge any more than 2.75 on top of prime. And whatever prime is depends on the stock market for that day. Next slide. So here's a little bit about our results in the DFW SBA's office. So in my district office, for the first time in the history of the Dallas-Fort Worth district office, I've been there since 2010. And for the first time in history, we reached over $1 billion within our 72 counties. So we're lending out more money than other large SBA offices. For instance, like the New York district office, which covers all of New York City, Long Island. However, the DFW district office of SBA, we give out more funding to small businesses than them. Chicago, for instance, Houston, we're beating those markets. Actually, we rank number 4 in the country out of our 68 district offices when it comes out to lending to small businesses within our market. And if you could just hit it, keep hitting it there till we get to 2020, there we go. So as you can see, since that 2015, we continue to do over $1 billion in lending right here in your local area to small businesses with record numbers of small businesses as well. So last year, even though we had COVID going on, we still did $1.084 billion in lending to small businesses, even with the pandemic. Next slide. So how did we do in Dallas County? So in Dallas County, we did 361 loans worth about $296 million right here in your county. But that's what we want you to look at. When we give you that loan to either start that business or grow that business, this is what you do for us. This is what you do for the United States of America's economy, is you create jobs. And that's what it's about. That's why SBA is involved in investing your tax dollars, like Linda said, to make sure that you have the tools, resources, and financings to have a successful businesses, because you create jobs which stimulate our economy. And of those 361 loans, we supported 4,223,000 jobs right here in Dallas County in 2020, even with COVID going on. So kudos to all the small businesses out there that utilizes our programs and our resource partners and lending partners that help make this happen. Next slide. So let's talk about our COVID programs with the Paycheck Protection Program. That was the program created specifically for businesses that were affected by COVID. We did a really good job here in the local area of getting the word out about the Paycheck Protection Program, helping businesses get trained. working with our resource partners like SCORE, the Small Business Development Center, the Women Business Center, and the Veteran Business Outreach Center to make sure that they had the information to in turn go out and train businesses and assist them with their Paycheck Protection Program loans. Not only did we do that with our resource partners, but we also had to train our lending community about the Paycheck Protection Program as well, because they were the ones administering the money through the SBA. So we had to get them trained on this particular program, which were hundreds of lenders dealing with thousands and thousands of applications. But we were successful at that program right here in Dallas County as we were our traditional loan program. So in Dallas County, we did about 4,300 additional loans outside of those traditional loans that was solely focused on Paycheck Protection Program. That amounted between 150,000 to 10 million. And look at the number of jobs that the Paycheck Protection Program helped save. Now, our traditional loan programs, if we went back to the other slide, helped save 4,000 jobs. But with the PPP right here in Dallas County, we helped save 239,000 jobs that otherwise would have died if this program wasn't effectively put in place right here in Dallas County. Next slide. So I always like to talk about success stories. Businesses always want to know, well, what type of businesses that are like mine, or that like the business that I own, or the business that I want to start has went through SBA, has utilized resource partners, has gotten SBA funding and become successful. Well, here's one local one. So Kevin and Mike, these two young entrepreneurs on the right, started at UTA, the University of Texas at Arlington, were really good friends. They graduated and they wanted to go into business together. So we go to the next slide. They started a restaurant in downtown Dallas called the Dallas Fish Market in 2009. They did very well and they wanted to expand. However, these two young entrepreneurs didn't have the capital to expand the way they wanted to expand. So they came to SBA. We worked with them with their business plan. We got them coupled up with a lender. And look what happened. They got a loan for $770,000 in 2011. But look what that loan did for them. They opened up 5 restaurants in downtown Dallas. So not only do they own the Dallas Fish Market, but they also own Dallas Chop House right there on Main Street, Dallas Chop House Burger, and several others. But look at the economic impact. They created 250 jobs right there on Main Street, right here in the city of Dallas, based off of a loan that we gave them to expand, increasing their sales to about $10 million a year. But it didn't stop there. They were motivated to do more because of that success. So in 2015, they opened up 5 more restaurants in Fort Worth. So that's 10 restaurants that these two young entrepreneurs now operate in DFW, an additional 250 employees, so about a total of 500 employees based off of that loan that we gave them in 2011 to expand their businesses. So SBA's programs are working. Our lenders are lending the money, and our resource partners are getting these businesses prepared for their success. Next slide. So here's another program that we have that's not really like a lending program, but more of an investment type program. It's called our Small Business Investment Companies, or SBICs. So we work with investment companies, these SBICs. We vet them and we do backgrounds on them, and then we license them. And then when we license them, we give them a bulk of funding to go out there and find ideals and businesses to invest into. It's really big for high tech and high growth companies, but not solely for those type of companies. So we like to brag about our successes. Obviously, I just bragged about one. So these are companies that started out small, where they went to financial institutions on their own and could not get a loan to grow their businesses or enhance their businesses, but had to come to SBA. We coupled them up with a small business investment company. And now look at these companies today. Companies like Apple. Apple is the only company in the world to firstly reach over $1 trillion in assets, simply because they got help from SBA in the very beginning. Intel, Staples, or just a few others that we were able to help as small companies with our SBIC program. And now they're the large corporations that they are today. Next slide. So not only do we like to help individual businesses start, but we also like to help people get involved in the franchise business. So if you are interested in franchising, we can help you with that. We have a list of what we call approved franchises that we vet again, and that we say these are good franchises where the franchise does not have complete control over the individual. They let that franchisee run the business. And that's what SBA wants. We want that small business owner to run the business. So we have a list of approved franchises that we believe do a good job at that. So how did we perform with franchises? So in 2017, we did about $250 million right here in the DFW area to 316 franchises. In 2019, we did 388 franchise business loans worth over $340 million in 2019. So again, we are making this dream come true if you're interested in the franchise business arena. Next slide. So this is how you can find that franchise directory I was telling you about, where we have these lists of approved franchises. It's about 2,500 of them that SBA say these are approved franchises that we like to fund. These are just some popular ones. I talked to a lot of high schools and colleges, so they love to see Popeyes and Wingstops and Metro PCS dealers, hotels, car companies, and they're real familiar with racetracks. So these are our most popular franchises in the DFW area that we funded over the last few years. Next slide. Again, another success story. I love to brag about my local success stories. I've had a personal impact with these particular businesses. So any opportunity I get to share their successes, I would love to do so. I think it's also motivation. But even though this company is not in Dallas, even though it is in the DFW area, it just goes to show you that these are the type of businesses that we are helping make dreams come true. This couple on the end started in corporate America, worked their way through corporate America, got tired of it. The wife had a passion for baking. They wanted to start their own bakery. They went to a franchise expo, ran across something called Nothing But Cakes. Very popular place, really good cupcakes, really good pastries, really good everything at Nothing But Cakes in Cedar Hill. We believed in their vision. We gave them $244,000 in 2016 to start this Nothing But Cakes in Cedar Hill. They found the building, they opened it up. Ever since then, they've created multiple jobs, and they've seen at Nothing But Cakes, they've seen nothing but sales increasing ever since opening. So great place to go visit. That is an SBA success story, franchise success story at that. So counseling. So we talked a lot about SCORE. Linda did a really great job of outlining how SCORE is like your first step. When you have that ideal for a business and you don't know how to implement that ideal into a plan, and then that plan into action, SCORE is really good about that. They're your mentors for that. As Linda stated, there's SCORE volunteers all across the country. So if we don't have an expert in your industry here locally, they can get you connected with someone virtually, over the phone, via email, and make sure you're getting that mentorship to start that business and be successful. So Dallas SCORE is your local SCORE chapter here to help out. But we also have something called a Small Business Development Center. And this is more geared towards those businesses that are already in existence, that are looking to grow their businesses or take their businesses to that next level. So SBDCs have professional staff that are paid. They're working Monday through Friday, and they receive technical training, and they also provide technical consulting. So these are like your own professional consultants at no cost. SBA picks up this tab for you, and you're getting these personal consultants that are working with you day in and day out to make sure you have the guidance, the tools, and resources to take your business to that next level. So they could do feasibility studies for you. They could tell you what's the best location for the business, for your business that you want to locate to. Who are your competitors in that area? What are they doing? And what type of revenue can you expect? And what type of customer basis should you be targeting with this new plan for your business to grow? So along with the SBDCs, we also have the Women's Business Center, which is connected to LiftFund. They're there to really help our women entrepreneurs get the financing, the research tools, the technical tools to help them grow and sustain their entrepreneurship endeavors as well. And then lastly, we have a Veterans Business Outreach Center, which is a part of the University of Texas at Arlington, a part of their business school. And it's solely there for veterans and those that are connected to veterans, so family members. They're able to go to UTA and get that same type of technical assistance that the SBDC SCORE and Women's Business provides, just for those that are veterans and connected to veterans. Next slide. So to close out, again, our agency, we love to talk about our success stories. We love to brag about those businesses that started out small, that tried to go the traditional financing route and wasn't successful and had to come to SBA. And SBA really geared them towards getting a loan. For instance, Nike, Under Armour, all went to banking institutions and were denied. And wasn't able to get traditional financing. And we coupled them up with an SBA lender, Outback Steakhouse, JetBlue, other ones that got connected with SBA lenders. And now we believe are the successful corporations that they are today. And the last slide gives you my contact information. Unfortunately, right now, I'm not assigned to the Dallas-Fort Worth District Office. I am on special assignment with SBA's headquarters, overseeing the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant Program, which is a grant program to help our shuttered venues like theaters, museums, zoos, theatrical performers recover from COVID. So I'm currently on detail with them, but feel free to still reach out to me. I will be more than happy to get you connected with the Dallas-Fort Worth District Office of SBA, who could give you some assistance and direction on how to access our programs and services. And with that, Gary, I will turn it back over to you and stand by for any questions. Thanks.
Wow, thank you, Ahmad. Wow, what amazing information you just shared with us and with the audience. So much information, and I know so many folks may have some questions they have now, or perhaps may sleep on it and reach out to either Randall, me, or to you directly. Just because you mentioned it, I think you said 239,000 jobs were saved in the DFW area because of the benefits of a PPP loan. I'm just curious, and some folks in our audience may be curious too, of that 239,000 jobs. How many of those were in the service industry? You know, we here at 24 Hour Dallas, you know, we have a lot of folks who are engaged with us who are in the hospitality and the service industry. And we're all very much aware of how much the service industry has suffered. Business owners and workers, frontline workers, because of the effects of the pandemic. And so interesting data, and definitely I'd like to learn more about that. And I know we have just a few more minutes to go before we end. And so I know there are some questions, and they are, Randall, I'm gonna see if I can switch to you to manage.
Sure. For all of our panelists, Ahmad, Todd, Linda, Gary, even one registrant in the webinar says, if you don't have any financial history to present on your application, what do you suggest when you're asked for this information, or will I be denied?
Well, I can answer a piece of that. As a startup business, most times you're not going to have any financial information on the business because it's a startup. We do look at your personal financial history or your personal financial bank statements and your personal tax returns. So those are the things that we sort of start to base that new startup loan on, is those personal that personal financial information, since there's no business information there at this time.
And Ebony asks, is the women's resource function that you mentioned available to startups or to existing businesses only?
It is available to startups, and it's available to everyone. Actually, it's called the Women's Business Center, but that is it's opened up to every individual that wants to take advantage of the services that they offer.
Well, there you go. Then that's all I have right now.
Okay. I do have a couple of questions for Linda with SCORE. Just curious, how many times can an applicant or somebody who's wanting to start, how many times can they meet with a mentor? Is there a certain number of times, or what are the parameters there? I guess is what I'm trying to ask.
I tell you what, there is no parameters. It's perpetual.
Okay.
For as long or that you are satisfied and you're moving in a progressive moment. Let me just share this. Since we've been in COVID, it is so important that I tell my clients, even when they first come in, it's so important for us to take advantage of federal contracts on the local level as a business owner, or even just as an entrepreneur. So when we actually get our clients in, we invite other certified mentors to collaborate together. So they're getting the best of all of the specific services in the industry.
Yeah, thank you so much. I was just curious about that. And so I know we just have a few minutes left. We have some closing remarks too. So I just wanted to thank each of you for being a part of this panel. Lots of great energy here, lots of great information that was shared, more information coming soon. Obviously, again, it's too hard to pack everything into a 1-hour program. And because of that, my fellow committee members and I have decided to break this out into a series of Zoominar. So this was the first one working through the SBA process and SCORE and with a lending institution that works with the SBA. But moving forward, we're hosting other webinars that deal with the City of Dallas working with the SBA on business opportunities within the City of Dallas, the organization. Alternative pathways, there are different types of lenders out there, just different business models. Someone just told me about something called angel lenders. Never heard of that before. What does that mean? What other types of lenders are lending opportunities or business plans out there? And then kind of routing it all out with chamber connections. In the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, we are very lucky, very, very fortunate to have a plethora of chambers of commerce that offer so many resources to their members, to their prospective members. And so we like to make some of those connections and share some of those resources that some of the area chambers of commerce have to either their members or for budding entrepreneurs. So more to come on all that. But to round out this seminar for tonight, again, thank you so much to each of our panelists, to Linda, to Todd, to Ahmad. There is so much information that you shared, so much valuable information. Thankfully, this will be posted, as Randall mentioned, it'll be posted on our website along with your contact information. So if someone wasn't able to capture it, you'll be able to do that soon. I have finished my jug of water for the 1 hour. So, I feel accomplished in that way. And so thank you once again, Randall. Thank you so much for allowing us to put this the Zoominar together. Thank you to my fellow committee members at 24 Hour Dallas for working with us to get the Zoominar together. And this series of Zoominars coming in after that. And so I'm going to go ahead and turn it back to Randall to close us out with some closing remarks.
Sure. Garee, thank you for hosting this. And Garee we're all volunteers at 24 Hour Dallas. We have like 100 different people involved in our organizations, individuals and companies and nonprofit organizations and government agencies. Go to 24hourdallas.org. Check us out, see what we're about. We are about creating a more economically vibrant, more culturally vibrant, more inclusive and safer nighttime economy in Dallas. And we just have an excited young group of volunteers who really see that as being the future of our city. And this is this particular committee, this particular program was actually coordinated between 3 of our committees. Communication Committee chaired by Garee, Respect and Inclusion Committee chaired by Ruben Leal, and our Nighttime Economy Committee chaired by Laura Clayton with Vice Chair Dr. Christopher Penny from the University of North Texas. So we're a team effort working to bolster the nighttime economy in a way that makes it safer and more exciting. So thank you very much again for joining us. This will be up on our website at 24hourdallas.org/archived-Zoominars. In just 2 days, we'll post this whole video up and also on our YouTube channel. So thank you again.